Certainly, I am alive. I am. And I titled this Be a Do. Folks, just because somebody brings you something and explains it to you very carefully doesn't necessarily mean that that you're gonna get the right idea. There are a number of people today that that have been told something and they've taken it to an extreme. Be a doer of the word. You ever heard that? Be a doer of the word. Yeah. And then they want to tell you what word to be a doer of. And they'll come and tell you, I can. I mean, I've been in this chair before, and I can reach over here, and I can get now there, right here, I have a book covered with duct tape. That's what that is. And if I open the book, I can find the Holy Bible. I can tell you, people know more about the Holy Bible than they do about the Holy God. Do you know anything about the Holy God? Somebody said, well, you got to be a doer of the word. And then you go explain to me what the word is? Be a doer of the word. I'm going to give you an example of a person who heard from God and didn't take God's advice. Now, you do find that in a Bible. And I can find it in this Bible because this Bible has Genesis in it. And in Genesis chapter 4, the man had relations with his wife. Now, if you don't know what relations with his wife means, you probably not very old. And she conceived and gave birth to Cain, and she said, I have gotten a man child. It says, with the Lord. Some books may have the help of the Lord. And again, she gave birth to his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of flocks. Cain was a tiller of the ground. A keeper of flocks, a tiller of the ground. Well, what was Adam? Adam was Eve's husband. Eve is Adam's wife. Adam and Eve have children born, one named Cain and one named Abel. And the next thing you'd find in this verse, it came about in the course of time that Cain brought an offering to the Lord. Now, who is the Lord here that Cain is bringing an offering to? Who is Cain bringing an offering to? Now, let's think about this as we go here in this, 10 minutes. And Cain brought something, and Abel also brought of the firstlings of his flock and their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering. Now, what that leaves you to imagine, had regard for. Well, the Lord had regard for. And for Cain and for his offering, he had no regard. And this caused something to happen. It caused Cain to hear God say these words: "Why are you angry?" This is God talking to Cain. This isn't Eve. This isn't Adam. This is God talking to Cain. He has just brought something to the Lord. And so had Abel. I just read that. And the Lord said, "Why are you angry, and why has your countenance fallen?" There must have been some facial expressions going on. And I mean, they must have been looking at each other. What does countenance mean? Do you know? Well, think along with me, please. If you do well, will not, it says countenance here, be lifted up. But what is countenance? Countenance is in italics in this line here. And why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will not your countenance be lifted up? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door, and its desire is for you, but you must master it. So, what was the word of the Lord to Cain after he sees the situation? He tells him, "You must master it." Well, Cain told Abel his brother. I don't know what Cain told Abel his brother, but it came about when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, now this isn't Adam talking to Cain. This isn't Eve talking to Cain. This is the Lord talking to Cain. Now, who is the Lord if the Lord here is not God Almighty? That's the question. The Lord said to Cain, "Where is Abel your brother?" And he replied, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" That's what I read. Then these words appear. God said, He said, the Lord said, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand." Now, Cain is listening to God. And the next words are on the next page. God says, "When you cultivate the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you, and you will be a vagrant and a wanderer on the earth." And that's when Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is too great to bear. Behold, thou hast driven me today from the face of the ground, and from thy face I shall be hidden. I shall be a vagrant and a wanderer on the earth." Folks, wake up. Wake up, please.